I have two quick questions. One is a follow-up to the fermented cabbage that you said. So if I understood you correctly, you recommend to use a juicer to create a cabbage juice, and then after 3 days, you put it on the shelf, then you can put into it the cabbage pieces, and then you create a fermented cabbage. Is this the way you recommend?
No, let's explain it to you. So the same juicer, slow-turning auger juicer or press that you would make wheatgrass or green juice with, something that has high quality, deep cell juice made out of it. That same juicer, you put organic cabbage through. And I'll preface this by saying the purple or the darker cabbage have more minerals in it. Whenever you see something with darker color like that, it has more minerals. Now, that's mush. It comes out mushy. Now, I don't mind that, but some people say, I want it a little bit more roughage. So you mix into that finely cut cabbage or long strands of cabbage. Now you mix it all together, put it in a large jar. If you don't have a crock pot, that's the ideal, but not everyone's going to buy a crock pot. A big, nice gallon jar, and you put a screen on the top so no bugs come in and out. And on the very top of that bottle, where you have the cabbage sitting, you basically put one leaf. So that bacteria is not going to interact. It's going to hit that leaf rather than the mushed up cabbage. 3 days later, remember you have a screen on it, you're going to have sauerkraut. Now, you can put, I like garlic in there, juniper berries, et cetera, et cetera. Now, let's talk about a second subject. You can take the same cabbage, not put an auger in, put the juice mechanism into the juicer. Now you actually make the juice of cabbage. Now you have a glass or a bottle of juiced cabbage. And you literally can take other vegetables, generally root vegetables work good with this. Jicama and turnips and rutabaga, things like this. You now cut them small, stick them in, let them sit for 6-7 days. They ferment. It's another way to get it. You can actually take small pickling cucumbers. You can make your own, put garlic in it, make your own dill pickles. And these are living, these are raw, and they're loaded with good bacteria. Now, grant you, they don't have all the healthy bacteria you need. They just have some of the bacteria that actually support, with the roughage of the sauerkraut, the roughage of the fermented vegetable, the gastrointestinal health. And that's what we're after.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, the next question is from Benny. Benny, I'm going to unmute you. Please ask your question.
Brian, thank you so much for sponsoring this great conference. One of the controversial topics still seems to be whether raw vegan diet is the best. Would you address to some people who may be confused by those doctors and others who've appeared that tout either cooked, whole food, plant-based, and even some who've recommended animal foods and animal products?
Well, let me just be utterly clear. I don't think there is any serious doctor or scientist that would debate that raw food is healthier for you than cooked food. If there is, next year, let me debate them. Please, let's get a panel of people that say you have to live on cooked food. And even better yet, put people on that panel or another panel. I prefer another panel on that. Let's say you require animal-based foods. And let's have that debate. But for you, the thinking listener, obviously, if there are those people, they're not thinking. When you cook a food, these are factual statements, not opinions. You're disturbing the proteins. They're not complete. You're pretty much wiping out the vitamins. You literally are taking the minerals and diluting them, and you can get to the point where you cook as much as my mother used to cook. There's very little minerals in it. You're also killing the 4 things that we've discovered here that are why this program keeps us young and why this program has been so effective in helping people reverse major disorder and stopping the aging process. Not stopping, excuse me, slowing the aging. I wish I could stop it. It's slowing the aging process. It's hormones. Once you cook it at about 115 degrees, the hormones are gone. The hormones are the language chemical language that come from the food. And you say, well, there are no hormones in food. Where do you think they get bioidentical hormones from? Of course, there's hormones in plants. The oxygen. We knew in 1917 that you required oxygen present with nutrients, vitamins, minerals, etc., before they are absorbed and digested into the human cell. Gone when you cook it to 150. Phytochemicals, the most important. I write books on this. And so the phytochemicals are the magic elements that nature weaved into plants to reverse disease. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of years before humans showed up. And lastly, but not less, is enzymes. Enzymes are the catalyst of life. When your sperm and egg came together and you were created, it was an enzyme activity that literally did that. So we call it the new era of hope. Hormones, oxygen, phytochemicals, and enzymes are killed. So if you look at the brilliant work of not doctors who are selling diets, but the real researchers, like Dr. David Williams at Linus Pauling Institute, who's the world's leading authority on phytonutrients and how they reverse and prevent disease. He will tell you straight on. He's on my faculty on my online program, that once you cook a food, these are gone. And so I don't know why we have to struggle. I know a lot of these doctors, congratulations, you finally gave up meat, you finally gave up dairy, some of you gave up eggs, some of you gave up fish. Congratulations, we want to honor you. But just because you did that and that's where you stopped, let's not stop the conversation there. Let's not take away from the people that believe in you the real science that goes well beyond just what we don't eat. I'm not only interested in what we don't eat, I'm interested in what we eat. That is equally, if not more important, isn't it? The other fact is that there has never been a study on longevity and caloric intake, the amount of food we eat, that doesn't tell you people who eat the highest amount of nutritious food in the smallest amount live the longest and have the least disease. So that's what the living food, raw, organic, plant-based diet affords you. A lot of these talking heads tell you you need more calories, you need more fruit, you need more carbohydrates, you need more beans. The fact is, there has never been a study on longevity and disease that doesn't tell us high nutrients in small amounts are who lives the longest, has the least disease. So if we want to have debates with these talking heads, I welcome it next year on The Real Truth About Health. Be prepared.
Okay, next we have Juliet. Juliet, what is your question?
Hi, I was wondering, is it safe to eat seaweed? I was told that it contains heavy metals.
If anyone ate seafood after my presentation today, you're suicidal. That's all I can say. So there should be no seafood consumed. The only thing out of the sea that can be consumed are sea plants, sea vegetables. Now, you heard a question early on. He said, what do you do to prevent radiation? My answer was, when I was brought to Russia by the Russian government, we were using seaweeds to remove radiation. So even if, and it is, radiation and heavy metals riddle the oceans of the world, the plant, which is the oldest type of plants on the earth, these sea vegetables, inherently have a resistant factor where they don't absorb at any significant level these type of chemicals. So you should not ever consider eating anything out of the ocean that's alive other than a plant out of there, seaweed.